Okay, we are live. Well, we're at least recording. We're here with two of the
Big
members from BlastCamp that I have the pleasure of knowing and coaching and getting to know. So let's get to know you guys even better than we do. We have Jackson Frey and John, LJ. So let's start this off with Jackson and LJ. Why don't you tell me your time with BlastCamp?
I'll go
lead it off,
first. How about
Jackson.
that, John?
He's the day one.
So basically, my dad, if you don't know, my dad owns BlastCamp. And so my first time ever playing paintball was around 2009. Had no idea what it was. And then ever since then, I've basically played every weekend. BlastCamp originally started as just like a group of friends just playing every single weekend, open play, big games, stuff like that. Eventually, I think Nathan, who's on the team now, had the idea to go play a fun ball tournament and at the Plex, and we did good, not great, didn't shit on though. So basically from then, it's just been every single weekend, just playing with my friends. So
how old were you when you first started?
I was 9, so I was like, my dad on the field, I could get away with 1 year not playing. I was 10, so
right.
Got a little early, got a head start, I guess.
Yep, that's fantastic. And you, LJ?
How old was I?
Oh no, how did you get on the team?
Well, it actually worked out good. We were playing with Shock's Division 2 team in 2017, and then at the end of that year, just kind of the team didn't fall apart, but kind of relationships at Badlands weren't the best. We kind of, I don't know, almost thought we could get more out of it, and we weren't able to do that there. And then we took our talents to BlastCamp and played with Midwest Force for the 2018 season. And then after that, a majority, good 3 or 4 of us were asked to come try out for BlastCamp's D2 team. And then most other guys tried out for the D3 team. And then that's how the team came about last year, and the team pretty much all returned for this year.
So the Midwest Force team that I keep seeing a lot of has guys on the Semi Pro and on the D3 line. Is that correct?
Yeah, on the Semi Pro line, it was me, Jesse, John Chapeau, Cody. He ended up playing with BlastCamp a little bit in the 2018 season. Vass, Zach, and Luke.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And Jackson, you've just been BlastCamp since the beginning, since the coming out.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've never really been with a different like team or anything. I've played like some indoors with the Rotten kids,
Okay.
Like some D4. Like before I even started playing like even D4 like 5-man, it was just like some 3-mans. My very first one was with a group. I think it was like, I don't know, it was like Indiana Speedball team or something. It was like a 3-man at Plex. First time ever playing like airball or anything, and like the horn goes off and you just hear all those guns. Like I think it's like full auto. We were playing at like 12 balls a second back then. That was scary, but ever since then I've just been like hooked. But no, it's been BlastCamp for basically forever.
And when did BlastCamp start playing the NXL?
So we played our first NXL. We started with just like the MWXL at Badlands, started D4 5-man. That's where we really took off. One entry into World Cup that year for D4 5-man.
Okay.
That was my very first NXL. I'd been to PSPs and everything like that, but this is the first time like I'd ever even been to an NXL because they hadn't been to Chicago back then in like 2016, I believe. And we came out, got third. Probably should have won. The Vicious Bunnies that now practice at BlastCamp didn't beat us, but they won the whole thing. And then ever since then, we just played the year after that, we played no NXLs, played all MPPL down in Pekin, and then played only Chicago and World Cup the next year. Won Chicago, so my third NXL ever I won. And then after that, it's been NXL every tournament. So,
John, were you on the team at that point in time? When
during their first NXL that they
Yeah.
won in Chicago? No, I was not. And the beginning of that next season is when the team that we have now came about.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
so I was with Force that event. We played in the same division. We got knocked out. We were hoping to meet them in the finals, but it didn't work out like that.
Makes sense. Keeping it in the family. I understand that very, very well. Now, Jackson, let me touch on another thing that's interesting is your involvement with the team, the USA team, the under 19 guys. Tell us about that, please.
Yeah, so I think that's honestly one of like the biggest opportunities. It really got my name out there. Basically, tried out at the combine last year. I honestly had never even thought about it, never even considered it, and then my dad got me that opportunity to go there for Christmas, and I think that was really the start of like my career. I would say that I really got my name out there, and like it's so good to just like talk with pros and everything, and like there's so much help from BKI and everyone. I think it's a great opportunity for anyone that's like under 19 looking to get your name out there. Last year we lost to Norway in the finals, so hopefully this year the event happens and we come out swinging and win. I think we got a really good team this year. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's one of the biggest opportunities. As long as like with the paintball combine, that's how you get on the team. But just going to the paintball combine, like there's just so much knowledge and so much fundamentally ways you can get better and everything at the combine. And then if you do make the team, I mean, it's just a once in a lifetime opportunity. I went to Amsterdam. That was a great experience. But yeah, it's great. It's great.
Makes sense. Now you are officially the top under 19 player from the combine this last season, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Yes,
just
sir.
bragging you up.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah, it's something I wanted to do. It's something I definitely worked for. So last year I got 7th, I think. My boys Jack Carter got first, got a golden barrel. That was pretty sick. But this year I definitely wanted to get it, and I did. I had the top spot out of anyone at the combine. So like 90 something people.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
huge.
Yeah. And hard work pays off. I mean, we were talking about it. I was talking with Jonah and Steve yesterday, who Jonah has a very, very similar experience and said that he really, that the combine was amazing for him and it changed things in it.
I think if anything, it gave me like more confidence. I mean, I think that's something I've definitely taken from that as well, is just the confidence and knowing that like some people like doing drills and everything, yeah, like you're getting better, but if you actually go somewhere and you test it and you see that like the work that you're actually putting in is paying off, then it really just it boosts your confidence. It gives you more confidence when you're playing, when you're going out, and it makes you want to drill. And that's something that's just really made me work harder and realize like what you actually have to do in order to win and be better at the sport.
It's a process. It's a never-ending process. I mean, truly, if you want to get better, the more years you're involved, the more you learn, the more you listen, and you're absolutely right. It's definitely a process.
Yeah,
now,
that is the unfortunate part about paintball is that it takes time. You almost, no matter how, it almost just can't be rushed. It takes time from division to division to year. It took me a while to get to where I'm at now and to find a team like BlastCamp, and I'm grateful it worked out how it did. But unfortunately, the process just takes time, and you can only just keep grinding. Makes it go back faster.
And there's always, steps forward, steps back. In this game, what you often find is that you have a bond with your teammates, and sometimes you put the team above yourself. And if you're on a team that really doesn't have much direction, it can inhibit your growth as a player. And, there's a lot of times where hard decisions need to be made.
Yeah, completely. I agree with that.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I'm going to do is, which we were talking about before, is I'm going to play a little clip from the NXL Philadelphia 2019, the D2 semifinals against Grit. Solus has a fantastic video out on YouTube, and it's one of those things where I just want you guys to at least see it in the background while it's going on, and you can comment if you see anything. But most of the guys that were at the event are still on the team. Who is not on the team that played the D2 event that we're watching?
The only player that did not return.
I believe Bob is the only person that's not on the team, and then Happy, our coach.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I have it muted on this, in which I can.
How can you not hear me, Jackson?
That's Nathan, right?
Jackson?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I watched this video, because when I was scouting you guys before, that's what I was watching.
Yeah, I don't even know if we're going to be able to play the third event this year. It's going to be sad.
Yeah. Somebody in the post said that you were pretty loud, Jackson. Is that one of your strengths from communication standpoint?
Yeah, so I would consider myself a pretty quiet guy outside of the paintball field. So the way I look at it is I just don't talk much, and then I just save it all for saying Tiger the Echo and Tiger the Delta. But yeah, it's definitely, communication is definitely one of my strong suits. If you didn't know me, or even know that I play paintball, you probably wouldn't even think of me as that. Like, I'm a pretty quiet guy, but yeah, I definitely think communication is one of the biggest parts of the game. One of the parts that people don't think it's a key part in the game. People definitely take advantage of it. But if you don't have it, then it can definitely kill a paintball team. Definitely make you lose games. If you do not understand it, you definitely don't do it.
Yep. Makes sense. It makes sense. And John, you can hear me, correct? We're not having any issues.
I'm good over there.
LJ is saying that you can't hear him.
I can't hear Jeff.
Oh, okay.
I can't hear you, LJ.
We'll just say that it's a connectivity issue at this point, but
you're good.
We'll fly with it.
You're just gonna have to direct us talking, Brad.
It happens. It's kind of one of the things that I can do for you guys. So why don't you discuss Vegas with me, with us, because that's something at least that we all shared, or we can even go back further to our first scrimmage as a team going down to Texas to scrimmage Grit and play at XFactor Paintball.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess let's start at Texas. I remember that really well. I didn't really play, so
You played one day.
yeah, it was good. So we went down to XFactor, played Grit for the first weekend of NXL Vegas for the layout drop. I honestly think that was one of the most productive practices I've ever been a part of. Just playing a good team and then watching the best paintball team in the world, XFactor at the time, watching them, how they played the field, watching Kid Arch, Billy Bernaccia. I don't know, just watching them play the game, you learn so much. I definitely learned, I think we learned the field layout a lot better than maybe some other teams. I feel like we came in really prepared, especially off that weekend. And I think you could definitely tell it was one of our first times playing in a while. I mean, not playing indoors. I mean, the first day was, kind of brutal for us, but I think we adjusted well. And I think I think that practice really showed us the importance of like all of us being on the same page and all of us, just like the meetings that we had and just talking during the breaks. I think that definitely showed us what we need to do and start us on the right foot for Vegas and the whole season if it even happens. So.
Right. LJ, your opinion?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think with what Jackson said about being able to watch X Factor, we were obviously doing our own thing most of the time, but it is nice, and that's almost a lost thing around the Midwest with Aftershock being gone. It helped me being at Badlands for as long as I was, being able to grow up just watching Aftershock and try to mimic their moves and stuff like that. It's a really big thing that I think teams, at least in this area, don't have anymore. That is very helpful, and I hope players in areas who do have those pro teams to watch or take advantage of that. I think it's a huge thing. And then, Grit really did. They gave us good looks. They gave us great looks, actually. Helped us play the field well. And it just really, this field especially, to add on to what Jackson was saying about his communication, this field is, with how quick stuff went down in the snake and losing 2-3 bodies, just really crazy stuff like that. If you're not communicating on that layout, it's going to hurt you. And it showed for some teams, just watching them on the sidelines that weren't talking right when the bang bang plays happened. They didn't know what to do after that, just because they couldn't react quick enough based on their heads being down or their voices not being loud enough or just not talking at all. But yeah, I think Texas was a very good practice, and I'd hope to do more stuff like that. It's very beneficial to play another good team before an event like that.
Right. And it's also showing, a very, very high level of dedication that you guys are willing to travel, incur those expenses, but for the right reason, because paintball isn't cheap. It's not a fairy godmother, fairy godfather situation where somebody can be a sugar daddy or sugar mama for you. But you guys love the game. You want to get better, and it's kind of a necessary evil, to do, since there isn't, a pro team, like you said, readily available in the Midwest for us anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then
I almost look at it like we're that next team here, in the Midwest. I don't know. I want the challenge.
I wouldn't disagree with you. And there's a lot of people that would agree, and we definitely showed people we deserve to be where we are, and as long as we work hard and keep going the way that we should, good things are going to happen from that. So getting back to it, Texas was our first practice. The second practice, we came home to BlastCamp, and it was a little cold and a little icy. Jackson, why don't you tell us what you and your dad and what BlastCamp had to do to get that field ready?
So basically, we had ordered a new bunker kit. Let's start with that. We'd ordered a new bunker kit. Those happened to be delayed. So we got brand new bunkers, I believe, on that Thursday a brand new set that they just sent to us that wasn't ours, that they let us like borrow essentially. Got that on Thursday, had to open it all up, do all that, but it snowed, and so we had to go out there, snow blow the field. We had someone, Alex, he had to get out there like 9 o'clock, snow blowed it all the way until around like 5 o'clock. When we were done, we were still snow blowing like the middle of the field. But yeah, it was definitely not the best setup I've ever had. It was pretty cold. When I got there, there was only like half of the field snow blowed, and I was like, "There's no way we're ever getting this done." Like, just the whole time I'm thinking, there's no way. But yeah, we had a bunch of like D4 guys come out and help, and we got it done. But yeah, it was definitely the weekend of that. There was snow everywhere except for the field. We had to shovel like the walkways in and stuff.
It ended up being a good weekend, like close to 50 and a little bit muddy,
Yeah.
but the field was definitely, it showed how much attention and time that you placed onto it. So it made a huge difference. And we got a great practice in with Wisconsin Infamous and our divisional teams. Do you know roughly how many teams we had out there that weekend?
Well, it was the semi-pro line for both teams. It was the D3 line for both teams, and then I believe the D4 team for both teams. So that's 6 right there. And then I think after we were done playing, there was some more like divisional teams that came out.
Is that the policy of BlastCamp, just to basically welcome any competitive team that, you know, is out there and that wants to join in?
Yeah, we welcome anyone out there. I mean, the 2 weeks prior to an event, the layout weekends, we do schedule for teams to come out and practice us, or we do like the whole organization like we did for Infamous. So the layout weekends, they may not be as available, or we just start practice at like 1 for open practice. But yeah, I mean, we're out there pretty much every weekend. We were out there last weekend. Unfortunately, probably not this weekend, but yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
it's killing me not to be able to go down there. It's the longest time that I've gone without playing, or you know what I mean, like being out at a field somewhere. I haven't had weekends off in a row, so I'm chewing at the walls trying to get out.
Yeah, this is my first weekend off since fucking World Cup.
Yeah.
After World Cup.
It's kind of one of those mixed blessings where you kind of like it, but you'd much rather be out at the field with your brothers more than anything.
Completely.
Yep, I get that. Now, LJ, what was your opinion on the Chicago or the camp practice when we played Wisconsin Infamous?
I thought it was good. I thought we were able to kind of bring a plan to that practice more than we were able to with the grit practice and one just being the first weekend there. But we were able to kind of just have a plan going forward to that practice, and it definitely helped us. We won some points, lost some points, but we had an understanding of what we could fix from every point, win or lose, and it really helped us like that. They gave us some more looks on the Dorito side than Grit was able to against us, and that helped to prepare us pretty well too. And then we were able to see what we were doing in the Snake was actually probably the right thing to do against them, because I'd say most of the points we won were from the Snake side probably. And that's how it pretty much translated in the tournament, I'd say, where all the crazy stuff happened. But yeah, it wasn't a bad practice by any means. I think both of those 2 weekends prepared us very well. And that one kind of just showed that the first weekend was worth it as well, you know?
Yep. And I mean, the consensus going into Vegas from the team, at least the guys that I talked to, was that the preparation, we feel that we were pretty prepared for the event. Why don't you, I'll start with you, LJ. Why don't you tell me your impression of the Texas event? Because, you know, anytime we don't win, it's going to be a disappointment. And I get that. But, you have to take some good with some bad and use it as a learning experience and use it to drive you to do better and do what's necessary to win. But I want to hear your perspective from touchdown to the last match where we didn't quite get it done.
Yeah, I think, well, if we go back to the last match, pretty much it's frustrating because we lost how we lost in Chicago last year and Cup last year as penalties in the last match. It kills us. That's definitely our biggest downfall, and it shows because that's what knocks us out of tournaments. It seems like not that we necessarily lose. I mean, it's all, you could call it all an excuse, but I don't know. That's almost what I want to chalk it up to. But I mean, for Vegas getting fifth, our first event, we didn't pick up any new guys. We didn't pick up any pro to our line. I would say it's a pretty good turnout. I would have been happy with Sunday. That was my short-term goal for making the jump from D2 to semi-pro. I would have been okay with that. It would have showed me that we were in the right direction. Getting the bye into Sunday is even better. It is bad because I feel like we weren't given fifth, but we didn't have the chance to really fight. It felt like just that last match was so quick and it was over before we could really even do anything about it, But I mean, it shows us what we could tighten up and what we could work on, and it just sucks not having Texas now because that's, as soon as Vegas is over, that's right what my mind's on to, It's hard.
Right.
But no,
Jackson?
overall Vegas was good, I think.
Yep.
What's up? So basically, thoughts on Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't really hear what John said, but I'm gonna
It's okay.
boil it down.
That's gonna be good. So it's gonna be two completely different opinions.
Yeah.
So basically, I boil it down to, it was our first semi-pro event. We got fifth. We did better than anyone that came up from Division II last year, and we didn't pick up any pros. So I think that was one of the things that we took very proudly, and everyone kind of looked at it and after, and that kind of made the loss a little bit, not to say better, but it did. I mean, there was teams that definitely did worse than us. And then throughout the prelims, I mean, it was honestly at surreal some moments, just like playing against people like the Hurricanes and like former pros. But like during the match, I'm just thinking like we're way better than these guys. Like we're gonna win every single point. And I think that was our mindset, was that we were gonna win every single point if we didn't make mistakes. And I think on Sunday, that was the one thing that cost us, is teams, not to say that teams figured us out, but it's like, I think the best way to beat us at this time is just don't go anywhere that we can shoot and then just make us get mistakes and get penalties. I mean, it sounds pretty simple, but that's exactly what they did. I mean, it's just shooting ourselves in the foot. I mean, just wait for that and then you can beat us. But I think that's the big thing I took from it. It was a great experience. It was fun. Nice having the house and having both lines making it to Sunday. But in the end, it's like, it's just disappointing watching what I feel like is the same mistakes over and over again that cost you tournaments.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be in a situation where you do the same thing over and over and over again, shooting yourself in the foot. LJ was saying, pretty much the same thing, that the penalties kind of caught up with us and bit us, because I don't believe that we had a penalty going into Sunday. Is my memory good? Do you guys?
I think Soap had one.
Soap had one
that was like not. It wasn't a penalty, but he got
Sunday. I think we got 3.
Yeah, in that one match.
Yeah, in the one match. Yep. And it, again, it's some guys feel that they have to try a little bit harder. What about this? What about that? You can second guess it all you want, and that's not productive. Second guessing, but you're right. Addressing the problem, fixing the problem, that kind of falls on all of us to take a bite out of and work on together. Now, why don't you? I'm going to of course, invite the rest of the squad on here to do a podcast. You guys were the ones who were first available, but why don't you, Jackson, give me the roster of players that were on the line in Vegas?
Yeah, so you had me, John. Our snake side was Zach Hogue, Cody LaPapa, and then Vasilios Kanakaris. And then
I'm a super
Jesse, Jesse, Luke Rataj, John Chapaw, and Nathan Abelhassan. So that was our line.
And how many? Yep, the squad, big camp. How many years together have you guys been officially that group? You know what I mean? This is the second.
Yeah. Well, I think basically what the team is now is me and Nathan he's the one that we originally started the team with. And then it's the Midwest Force guys. And so I think everyone's played with each other. Like I had played against them before I even knew any of them, like John or anyone. Mm-hmm. So we'd been playing against each other since 2017, I think.
Okay.
One of those when they were there. And then we joined forces last year to play D2.
So it was last year that you guys, at the beginning of the season, did you start the beginning of the season last year and you won a D2 event with that team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
special.
I would say, yeah, last season was very similar to this season, as in we were getting a new coach, but I think the biggest unknown was I honestly hadn't even met some of the people yet. I played against them. I'd played against Jesse and John and everyone. Honestly, John Chappelle was in our pits when we won Chicago, and I didn't know who he was. I was like, thanks for pitting for us, dude. Dapped him up, and I was like, I have no idea who you are. But
that's fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, I remember the first practice at O'Hare, we were just all getting to know each other. We had a meeting, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember some of these guys.
Yeah, and it was cool.
But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, my second NXL that I ever played, I won in D3 X Ball, and then our first full season in NXL, we won a D2 event and got 5th in the series. So
I know people, and I'll give you a chance to talk in a second, LJ, but just to point it out, because I'm learning all of this for the first time as well. I know people that go entire careers without winning a national event. So you guys being able to put it together and not only succeed in one season, but then make a jump the next as well. I didn't know. I mean, I'm part of the team and I didn't know. So it's special. And it's one of the reasons why I'm sitting and talking to you guys. So LJ, you talk about that as well.
Yeah. I mean, to just keep on touching on what Jackson said, I think having that 2018 season with Force and BlastCamp, we were able to, just play each other all the time. We scrimmaged each other before Chicago and Cup, and those were great practices back then as well. And then going into that next season, 2019, kind of seeing who emerged out of both of those lines to make the BlastCamp D2 line. You kind of look around, you're like, okay, we could kind of make some good music here now. We have some players that we played against for a while. We know what Jackson's good at, vice versa, just by playing against each other. And I think it helped going into that next season. And then Virgil just allows us to play literally so much paintball. It's whenever we want to, we could go there and just play. It doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or the weekend, where we could be there whenever we want. And that's why that 1 year of playing doesn't really feel like 1 year. I feel like I've been playing with Jackson and Nathan and all these guys for way longer than that, just by being able to play so much paintball together. It's like from one event to another. Probably 5 years ago, I didn't play that much paintball. I played that much paintball in a whole season. How much I practiced from just Chicago to Cup even last year. We're just on it. It's a great opportunity we were given.
You have to take advantage of those opportunities because the team is unique. BlastCamp and Virgil's support is unique, and that's one of the huge deciding factors that I thought about when I took on the responsibility of helping guide you guys and trying to make something happen special long term with you. And it's fantastic. I didn't even know this. I'm still kind of dumbfounded because of the shortness of time that you've actually been together. And you were touching on help with Virgil and BlastCamp. Who else, player-wise, in the Chicagoland area has really helped you guys, going forward? Go ahead, John. You can start.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. We're in a great area. Last year, we were able to practice boom 4 out of the 5 events last year for layout weekends. Before that helped a lot. Aftermath came out a few times. I know John and all them live way closer to BlastCamp than they do Breakout, so it's always nice when they came out. David Bargo was there, a whole bunch, and these are all guys that I grew up with watching, and they definitely helped me when I was younger, so I'm very grateful for that. And then probably the biggest help to us, who kind of really sees our potential, I'd say, is Ronnie Dizon. He comes to BlastCamp even on his own, just helping out some of these free parking lines that are almost a feeder team for our lower level BlastCamp guys. Him and Yair are out there a bunch helping them, but Ronnie's he's good to us. He helps with the practice, and he helps kind of just put the BlastCamp word out there. We have a lot of good people that really support us.
That's fantastic. Jackson, your opinion?
Who did John say?
Ronnie, you can. We're not going to read off of what John says, and you can repeat everything basically verbatim for what he says. But I still want.
You said Ronnie.
Ronnie is one, but lots of guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ronnie, and then a couple people in at least my paintball career or whatever was when I first started getting into paintball. A lot of people would go and practice at Badlands, and so there was a lot of people that played speedball. A lot of the former refs back then that worked at BlastCamp, a lot of them played speedball, played PSPs, but then they'd go out and ref open play, and they'd play big games and everything. And so, and the occasional open play. And so just playing against them, I realized that you need to really just play against people that are better than you. And so every time I can, I try to just playing against them, even if it was open play or anything. And then eventually, once we got a speedball field at BlastCamp, we were back there every weekend. But yeah, I would agree with Ronnie too. He's definitely one of the better players in the league. And then fundamentally drills and everything. It's just, you really just get better in no time. If you're getting beat up, you don't want to get beat up all the time. Why don't you go out there and try and get better? And that's playing against people that are better than you. Even if they are beating up on you, just learn, just absorb the knowledge, talk to them, see what's working, and eventually you'll find a way.
What I'll ask both of you this, and you can. There's no cheating or looking off other people's sheets. So, LJ and Jackson, who are some of the teams or players that you looked up to on your ascent to where you are now in semi-pro, and who did you model your game after? Because that's what a lot of players do. They find somebody that speaks to them or plays their position, and they emulate that player or tend to. So we'll start with Jackson. Jackson, who are some of the players that you think have helped you or you model your game after?
Well, someone that I modeled my game after, say, I watch a lot of paintball, or at least I try to, and I think just not really based on the skills or even like how good he was, even though he's probably the greatest. But like Oliver Lang, just like looking, you can see how much that guy wants to win, just by looking at him. And I feel like that's something that like I try to do and I try to emulate, try to replicate. It's just like when you want to win so much, you have to get everyone on the same page. And I think he's definitely someone that was able to demonstrate how much he wanted to win and then actually went on the field and did it and showed how great he was. And that's something that I definitely watch a lot of videos and just try to replicate that. I mean, it helps that he was probably on like the greatest team of all time, Ryan Greenspan as well. They're both key figures in the game, and just watching paintball and just, I mean, really anyone. I mean, like nowadays I would say it's more like Archie, like Malloy, those type of players. I mean, paintball has definitely evolved, and I wouldn't say that though like there's like nowadays I wouldn't think there's like a greatest in the league. I mean, you can do all the stats and everything, but I think nowadays it's really the skills are getting equal with each other, and so you really have to beat people with your mental game and your mind and strategy, and those are the players that you can really see are going out there to win every point. And I think if Oliver was in today's game, he'd still be pretty good. So
I think it's a safe bet. LJ, why don't you tell me?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, my earliest favorite pro was probably Ryan Greenspan. I had posters of Dynasty that I got at Action Village. I was around here when we were younger. I had like every player, but he was definitely my favorite. And then once I started going to Badlands, all the aftershock guys, they took a notice to me just being so young there, playing with my dad and my older brother and cousin, that the whole team was very good to me. Floyd Rose was he helped me out a lot, and then just all those guys.
Shout out, Floyd.
Yeah, no, that's probably one of the oldest players I know. Emmett Hall was real good to me when I was real young. I think he's out in like Florida now. I haven't talked to him in ages, but yeah. Anyway, then Distortion kind of came along there, and I just thought that those guys were so cool. The next most attainable team, it was definitely a long shot, but just kind of to see that they weren't pro, but they were so good that it was kind of cool. So like I really liked Ronnie, and then I got a little bit taller, and I kind of just thought my playing style was a little bit like LJ Woodley. It's kind of ironic that I got that nickname too from everyone calling me Little John because I used to be so little. But it's definitely just some of those guys that it was cool being able to watch them in person. That kind of, I don't know, you're able to take more of a liking to them and really watch like all their little moves in person. It helps a lot. And then now just trying to be the best I could be now.
Hey, it's a never-ending process. You got to do it. That's why the greats work so hard on maintaining and sharpening that edge that they have, because you need it. You need it. So let's do it this way. Jackson and John, I will give you guys a chance to shout out to your sponsors and the people who you want to thank, and then we can just wrap it up from there. So Jackson, go ahead and start.
Yeah, so first, thanks to BlastCamp, thanks to GI Sports, Empire, Planet Eclipse, all of our sponsors for this year, Virtue, along with the Virtue Spires. Thank you to all of them.
And do you have any words of wisdom for players out there who want to be where you are?
I think just taking advantage of opportunities like going to the paintball combine, going to your local field when it's open, and just trying to get better, drilling. Going to BlastCamp, playing BlastCamp Revolution. I mean, that's how you get better. But I mean, just taking advantage of opportunities. I think that's the only really way that you're gonna get better is when someone asks you if you want to go play, go play. If you see a pro out there, just ask him. Just get in his mind. I mean, once you get in the mind of people that are making the right decisions out there, then eventually you're going to start making the right decisions and you're going to get better. And once you get the confidence, it's just all there.
You keep hitting the confidence button, and I like that because we need to be great. You need to have confidence, and even in you when you lose and when you're pushed as far as you can, you still need to have that confidence. LJ, who would you like to thank, bro?
Really, I mean, Jackson hit the head on all the sponsors, but you for taking your time to help us out and believing in us and vice versa. But Virgil, obviously, and everyone at BlastCamp, all the teams that come out, all our D3, D4 line, but all the other teams that come out on a weekly basis, it helps us. It's just playing paintball. It's better than not playing paintball. So thank you to all you guys, and just keep grinding. It's the only way to get better.
Yep. And, I appreciate all of you. This is a journey that we're going on together, and it means a lot to me that you guys, welcome me in and that we do something special together. So, I'm not going to stop or, ease up until we get to the final goal, which we're trying to get to. And that's what we eventually want. And we want to earn our way to the top. So we're going to do that together.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for your time today. You can find videos on YouTube of BlastCamp Revolution and their teams. And is there anything else out there from the Super Floss that LJ is shaking behind him? But is there any other videos or information out there for people who want to know or learn about the team or you guys?
Jackson Frey's YouTube channel.
Our team has an Instagram. If you want to go follow that at BlastCamp_Revolution, you'll find a bunch of pictures there and just pictures of both teams, the Semi Pro, D3, and D4. As long as videos, I have a YouTube channel that I'll be posting to more frequently as soon as I get time to go play at Jackson Frey on YouTube. I got the last 2 weekends that we were out, posted a video from there, some barrel cam and some raw footage. As long as Team USA raw footage, if you're looking to watch something while you're in quarantine, got a bunch of the raw footage games from the Nations Cup, and we played D2 over there. So go ahead and watch that.
Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you guys again for your time. And we're going to do this again, probably with more of the guys from the team, and then go live so that we can open it up to the divisional guys as well. So this is just kind of a test run for the team because I'm getting used to doing this. You guys are my third podcast, so we'll start and go from there. But I do want to thank you both for your time. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, you too.
You too. Take it easy, Brad.
Thank you, sir. We'll be in touch and we'll talk very soon. Thanks, guys. Well, that was my time with LJ and Jackson from BlastCamp, the new team that I'm coaching. I want to thank all the players and Virgil and all the people who were instrumental on helping me get to this spot, this position, and take advantage of what it is that we're trying to do and trying to create. Again, I appreciate everyone for their time and have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you.